Good evening. It's Sunday, January 3rd. Get ready. I promise this is our best show of the year so far. It's time for Ken and Glenn and a guy named Scott. Happy New Year, everybody. We are going to start your new year off right tonight. Please welcome the stars of our show, Ken and Glenn. And me, a guy named Scott. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. You know I love you guys if I'm here instead of Clubhouse. Scott, have you heard of Clubhouse yet?
I have heard of it. Matter of fact, I just got a text from my pal Larry Winget wondering if I joined it yet or not, and I have not. So I need to do this. That's it must be the place where all the cool kids hang out, huh?
Glenn and I did a Clubhouse last night, man, and it was unbelievable. 5.5 hours.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's Ken's crazy addiction that he didn't want to have to himself. So he said, hey, I'm addicted. Why don't you come and have an addiction?
So it's drop-in audio chat, is that right?
Yep. It's freaking amazing. Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Now, see, isn't that cool? I mean, because most people would think after Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, there was no space left for another social media channel that anybody would want to be in. And everybody that I've heard that's been on Clubhouse says it's great.
Dude, I sat in and listened to Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, oh my gosh, there were
Glenn Morshower.
Glenn Morshower was off the hook. Unbelievable last night, dude. You were unreal.
Thank you, buddy. I kind of left it all on the playing field last night.
You sure did, man. Don says hi from the Great White North.
Oh, my buddy Don Fraser.
Oh, Freezer?
Not Freezer. No, I'm not friends with a guy named Freezer from the Great White North.
I was going to say, what the heck? Wow.
No, it's my buddy, my brother from another mother, Donnie B. Fraser, who lives in Vancouver, BC.
Vancouver, eh?
Vancouver, eh?
Yeah,
hey,
David John was on there last night. It was incredible. Look at this. The story of Gil was the best last night. Thanks, Glenn.
Oh, you're welcome, Christopher. Thanks for being in the room with us for that.
It's such an incredible story. And Glenn, it's almost like he's a professional or something, I swear, because like you could literally, he painted the picture. This was on audio only, dude. Like you couldn't, Glenn's best with his facial expression.
You have to work harder when it's audio.
I know.
There's no visual. You got to provide the visual.
Right. Doug says, I'm on Clubhouse, but I'm not doing anything for 5 hours. Oh my God.
Yeah, you do, Doug. It takes you 5 hours just to go through all of your cars in your garage.
Look, Lisa left a great room in Clubhouse for us. Well, thank you.
Hey, Lisa,
now that's commitment.
It is. Hi, Nancy. Glad you're watching from the Philippines. Awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Share this out, you guys. Share it out. Share it out.
So I assume Clubhouse is global at this point? Has it gone global?
I honestly, it's an invite only.
Okay.
And it's listen, Justin Benton has not been off of Clubhouse since he signed up.
Wow.
Literally, he's left his phone plugged in, charging, with Clubhouse open on his nightstand.
Nice.
I mean, talk about commitment. It's crazy.
I was just licking my lips just now and discovered there was a taste of a Dallas Cowboys season-ending loss still on my lips. It just tastes that way. It tastes like defeat today.
Laura came home from Naples for our show
Wow.
Wow.
to Michigan. Even worse. Even a
Wow.
bigger wow.
Donovan, hello. Ernest Odell, hello. Dave Clayton, hello. Lisa Dooley. Charles Coachman. The usual suspects in the house tonight.
Loving it.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of divorces, according to Doug's prognostication.
Because of
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Wow. Andrea over in the UK, she stayed up for the show. Wow. So your Cowboys got
Are playing next year. They're playing later in the year. The Cowboys their next game will be this summer. That's all that really needs to be said. And I am now a massive, massive Colts fan.
I thought you were going to say Steelers.
No, I'm gonna join. You don't care, Ken. If you cared, I would join you. But
Hey, does
Scott
Scott doesn't have a football for his team laying on the
I do
deck.
not. I thought about wearing. I've got a shirt. I thought about wearing it today, but I thought
I'm going to side with Scott on this one and pull for the Colts.
Okay.
But
it's
they're
good
going to have
see
their hands full in Buffalo.
Sorrentino supporting that other professional team in Ohio.
Yeah. I mean,
The only problem is they don't have a salary cap, as the old saying goes.
So when we always talk a little bit of football, when is the game with the Buffalo Bills, Scott?
Yeah, they haven't announced it yet. They wait because there's one spot left, depending on what happens with Washington, Philadelphia tonight. Then they will come out. But there will be 3 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. But they haven't announced who's playing in what slot yet. Given how big the markets are with Indianapolis and Buffalo, I imagine it'll be on the Nickelodeon channel about 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
wow.
That's funny. Well, Washington has a pretty incentivized ball game tonight, whereas Philly does not. Philly can't do anything. You say they're playing for pride. They're probably playing to avoid injury. You know, it's the last game of the season. You don't want to go out and get some stupid injury that rolls over into next season and messes you up. And Washington has to win to get in. And if they don't, the Giants will be there. And how on earth can the Giants go 6-10 and make the playoffs? That's insane.
Yeah. Miami goes 10-6 and misses the playoffs. And
right.
Yeah. And the Giants are potentially 6-10 and will make the playoffs.
Right. The answer to that question, Justin, is January the 12th, which is a week from Tuesday night. So 9 days from now.
Nice.
And we are going to, in my class, actually, start a little bit early that night and skip the traditional pep talk so that we as a family can watch the season premiere, because I will be in Atlanta, gentlemen, for the show these next 2 weeks. I fly out early tomorrow morning, and very much looking forward to returning to the set this week. But a week from Tuesday, when the premiere happens, I'll still be in Atlanta. So I think that's the first time I've been there during a season premiere.
Very cool.
Nice.
That'll be nice. Yeah,
you know, somebody we haven't talked about this on the show is Jane Leaves.
Oh, Jane's the best.
And I was thinking I wanted to ask you this, and I was going to do this off the show, but I just thought is that, my goodness, to go from the run that she had in comedy with Frasier,
yeah,
and even Hot in Cleveland, and then the dramatic turn that she's really terrific. I hope she's as nice a person as she seems to be.
She is an absolute angel. In fact, I will be seeing her. I've got a scene with Jane on Thursday.
Wow.
Of this week.
Cool.
Should I be inquiring to see if Jane would like to come do our show?
Now, why would we want her on here?
Let me ask the guests right now, our family here. Drop a 1 if you would like me to reach out to Jane Leaves and see if she'd like to come be a guest on the little talk show that we do on Sunday evenings.
I couldn't remember what role she played, and I'm looking
She plays
at her
Kit.
right now. Huh?
Kit.
Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing.
Oh, and she was so great on Frasier.
Oh, they're all Ernest. Every one is from Ernest. Look at this. one.
Great job, Ernest.
Ernest, I get your point. I think they refer to that as obsession.
Yeah, she's amazing.
As my friend George Campbell says, there's this thin line between persistence and stalking. At least that's what the judge told me.
Yeah. It ain't stalking if it works.
So, how was your New Year's Eve, gentlemen? How is how are the first 3 days of the new year going for both of you?
Ken?
Great.
Yeah. Tammy and I went out to dinner. There was we talked about this last week, but there's a local, here, and every state's doing it different, but there's a local restaurant here, an Italian restaurant called Gaetano's that I used to go to when I lived in California. Glenn, they used to be in Calabasas, and then they moved over here to Vegas. And first time I lived here, and then next time I lived here, we went. And now with all the challenges, it's 25% capacity, which makes it hard for a lot of restaurants, but I think particularly the local smaller restaurants. So Tammy and I went there on New Year's Eve, had just a spectacular dinner, and then came home, and there was a local Vegas production of a local band on a stage with, I don't know, 20 people in the audience, something like that. But they did it trying to recreate what they would have done if Fremont Street was open. And did a local production with, fireworks and everything. And we were home in time to see that and welcome in the new year. So we had a very low key, but that's kind of the way we like it, but a very low key New Year's Eve, especially Glenn, after the story you told about New Year's Eve in Vegas.
Oh, when I got stuck in Vegas in that wall, that sea of humanity. Yeah, that was in 2001.
Wow.
And scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's out of control.
So I said to Carolyn, if we survive this was during it. I said, if we survive this, and she's looking at me there going, yeah. I mean, it's not a given that we're going to make it through. I'm not exaggerating. It was scary. Wow. And I said, so let's just assume we will get out of here. What if we do the opposite of this? She said, meaning? I said, what if, let's say an hour from now, join me in this vision, we're up there in the sky looking down on this crap from a helicopter. And she said, that sounds great. And that's exactly what we did.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, sometimes life is best defined through contrast. So what is the opposite of being stuck in shoulder to shoulder, bodies crushing you, is to sit up above it and go in the most mature tonality you can muster up. Na, 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 na.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
So we had a New Year's Eve flight over the Strip. Only time I've ever done a helicopter flight over Las Vegas. And it was cool.
I've done it one time, and I have a funny story about that.
Oh, do tell.
Well, that's a weird one. Okay, so he was a driver in NASCAR. Now he's an owner. He was driving an IndyCar for a while, named Tony Stewart. I don't know if that.
Oh yeah, I know Tony Stewart. Yeah.
Okay, so Tony is originally from Columbus, Indiana. He's a big fan of Diamond Rio. I was backstage at a Rio concert and ran into him, and I'm like, oh my God, you're Tony Stewart. And I said, hi, I'm Scott McCain. He goes, Scotty McCain, 1010 WCSI. Well, I was.
No way.
He said, well, I listened to you all the time when I was in high school. So anyway, so anyway, this was several years ago when my first wife was dealing with trouble with cancer, and I'm just totally out of the blue. I get a call, And he said, "Hey, Scotty, I know from our mutual friends what you're going through, and I want to know you want to be my guest to go to the Vegas race, the NASCAR race."
Wow.
And so he took so I rode the helicopter in with him. Well, anyway, in the meantime, our mutual friend Dana Williams from Diamond Rio, the three of us, Tony, Dana, and I were on the helicopter. Dana let Tony know that I'm kind of afraid to fly. And so Tony, there was something that happened at the end of the race, and Tony, I think, ended up third, and he thought he should have won the race. So he was like hot. He was known to be for being hot tempered, and he's hot. We're walking back, and I'm just not saying anything. And we get on the helicopter, and he's sitting in the middle seat, and Dana and I are on the other side. And he looks at me, he said, "Did you know I was taking pilot lessons?" I went, "No." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I just figured I'll learn how to fly my plane." He said, "I got a plane, got a helicopter, figured it out." So we take off, and we just start out, and he all of a sudden sits up in the seat, grabs my leg, and goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ, it's never made that sound before. What the hell is that?" And I'm dead. I know it's over.
Is he just messing with you?
Oh, totally. And then all of a sudden there was this beat, and he just threw his head back and just laughed
And cackled at your expense.
And I mean, I just thought, oh my gosh, yes, Justin, he's a piece of work, and he's been very nice to me.
I love Tony Stewart.
Here's another weird thing. So we get back to the hotel, and we're going to go hang out for a little bit. And he, wants to go take a shower. Well, he comes back out, and he's in his robe, and he said, "Man, I just let me sit here for just a little bit." And he puts his feet up, and the bottom of his right foot was bright red.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. He said the Vegas is the third race of the season, I think. And he said, what happens is the cars get so hot that you develop a callus on the bottom of your foot, but that heals. And so it takes like the first 3 to 5 races for your foot to build up
My God.
that callus again. And I mean it. And he said, so but he's Justin, just the heat from the engine. And that was one of the things that he was saying was that he had a real bad headache. And he said in NASCAR, the fumes, you get that's part of why you want to be in front. You got fresher air. The fumes get trapped in the car. Where he said in Indy, because one of the questions I asked him is, what's the difference between IndyCar and NASCAR as a driver? And he said in IndyCar, the air is fresh, because it's an open cockpit and you don't have the foot and all that. But he said in NASCAR, at least particularly at that time, you make a lot more money. So,
yeah. Wow.
But that was my
Tony was 20, right? Number 20.
Yeah. And then he became number 14. But he was 20 in that race in the
20 in Home Depot.
In the Home Depot car. And then he moved to number 14 when he left and started his own.
Yeah,
because he was such a big AJ Foyt guy.
He still has his own team, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, got his own team. It's
who's driving for him?
Oh, who is driving for him now? When Tony left, and so many of those guys have left. Oh, the Mobil 1 car. Yeah, Justin, help me out. I don't know who is driving. Once you say it, I'm going to know it. But
look at Callanan. I'm still on Clubhouse. I haven't eaten in 2 days.
That's funny.
He had some great sponsors. That's for sure. But I'm an Indy, being from Indy originally, I'm more of an IndyCar fan than a NASCAR fan. Boy, I had a chance to be on the broadcast in Indianapolis for the very first of the Brickyard 400s, and to see how that thing has changed over the years is really sad, in terms of how it's declined and all of that. So interesting.
Yeah,
I'm going to see if I can find. I don't know if you'd be able to find it, Ken. A Kellogg's cornflakes ad to show. It was the last TV commercial I ever did, and then I retired from doing TV commercials. And it was for Terry Labonte's team.
Oh wow!
Because Terry used to drive, the Kellogg's number 5 car. And so there was a Kellogg's Corn Flakes commercial where they introduced this character, and everyone thought that I was an actual race car driver. I mean, people would come out to the tracks wondering who this mystery driver is that's interacting with Terry Labonte. And it was a lot of fun. And I did the NASCAR circuit for the first 2 years that ad was on. I went all over the country. And it came time for the California 500 out in Fontana. Beautiful racetrack out there. And my buddy, I was up in Vancouver, BC, 3 weeks before the race. I was up there shooting the X-Files. And my friend Rob Bowman, director, we had dinner. He was up there doing a completely different show, and I ran into Rob at the hotel, the Sutton Place, which is known as Hollywood North. And it's so interesting that whenever you stay at Sutton Place in downtown Vancouver, you run into people you know from LA, from the business. So I ran into Rob, and we decided to have dinner, and we're having dinner with each other, very much a sought-after director, dear friend for many years. And he says, "Hey, man, I've been seeing these commercials that you do for Kellogg's. And I've heard that you've been showing up at some of the races. Are you going to the California 500? I said, I am. He said, man, I've only been to one NASCAR race my whole life, and I had really, really terrible seats. And I'm wondering, oh, you found it.
I found it.
Oh my God. We'll play this and then I'll tell you the story.
Okay, I'll play it.
This is the last commercial I did before I stopped doing commercials.
It looks like it was about circa 1961, maybe?
Yeah, thank you. It was close. It's 89. Yeah.
Shortly
That's all
before
right.
the Kennedy assassination.
If this is how you want to spend the last night of our friendship, that's fine.
Dude, stop, man. Frank Graniti is in the house. Dude, that was funny. Come on, man.
It was very funny.
That was funny. All right, here we go. Let's play this. Glenn's very last television commercial.
Is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes. Well, what do you think? These are really good. They're pretty, too. Really? Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they? Hey, Charlie. Yeah. Kellogg's Corn Flakes? How could I be so dumb? You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, man, that's exciting. So the point is, I'm doing this character, Charlie. Everybody wants to Charlie. Who Charlie? Who does he drive for? He's this mystery driver. And I tell you what, the attention we got off of 24, the only thing I had ever tasted that was anything like it was being this fictional driver named Charlie. And I signed so damn many autographs for 2 years all over the NASCAR circuit. But back to this story, Rob Bowman says, are you planning to go to the race? And I said, I am. And he said, would you maybe, I said, would you like to go to the race with me? And he said, I would. And I said, okay, I'll just tell you right now that it's a phone call. It's no big deal. I'll just do a +1. You can join me. And great. So I called Terry immediately. I called Rob back in his room. I said, I'll call you back in your room in a few minutes. I called him back 4 or 5 minutes later, and I said, I just got off the phone with Terry. You're going to the race with me. Now, there's only one problem. You said you had really bad seats. I just want to make sure you're going to be okay sitting with the pit crew.
Oh,
Because that's where we're going to be. We're going to be right there where you smell the stench as the cars come in. Here is this very wealthy director who has had everything, but he didn't have that. And to be able to be the facilitator of that, he goes, all right, more shower. hot shot. If you're going to make that happen for me, then I want to make something happen for you. I'll call you back in 5. I said, great. So 5 minutes later, he calls me back and he says, I've heard there's a lot of traffic going to and from Fontana to the racetrack. I said, yeah. He said, well, we won't have to deal with that because you and I are being flown there.
Wow.
And what I didn't understand is that would mean not only doing the na to all of the cars that are stacked up getting in. Yes, Justin, exactly. The value of relationship capital. I talked about that the other night. But we came up and over and descended down into, which I've never done that before in my life, to be dropped off into the center of the racetrack.
Wow.
So my 2 greatest arrivals are that one via helicopter. We landed about 100 yards from Terry's truck, and we walked over to Terry's truck, and Terry opened the door. Hey, babe. And I introduced him. And it turned out that Terry Labonte, who Rob just adored, Terry Labonte had a mutual admiration scenario going on because he worshiped the X-Files. And Rob is one of the producers of that show. So Rob, I had already given him a heads up. I'd already given him a heads up that Terry loved X-Files. So Rob arrived with gifts in hand and had an X-Files jacket made for Terry Labonte that said X-Files, and on it, on the right side, it says Terry Labonte.
Oh, that's cool.
And Terry it's so cool to see really well-known people who are known in their field, to watch them turn into little boys and girls. That's thrilling for me, to watch famous people become kids all over again. And that day I got to watch little Robbie Bowman get together with little boy Terry Labonte, and the 2 little 8-year-olds were just goo goo gaga all over each other. And then Terry went out and had an incredible day that day at the track. It was beautiful.
That's cool.
That's what you did for me when you flew into Nashville. You're like, I got to go meet this famous guy.
Which is why I had the helicopter land right at the station.
At Exxon. Yeah.
And never mind the fact that the blades at any point could have ignited the pumps.
I know.
It almost added to the danger. Maybe this is our show title tonight is just wonderful stories.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Wonderful stories. Tell us a great story, Ken. I know you've had some amazing stories in your life. Come on with it.
My stories are so I immediately thought about this one. I was one of DirecTV's largest dealers in the United States, and so we would have this. It was biannual, so it was every 6 months. There was a conference in Vegas and then one in Nashville at Opryland Hotel called the SBCA show, Satellite Broadcasting and Communications Association. And we had, HBO was there. All the channels on any satellite system were there. So all of the X-rated movies or channels, Playboy, all of these.
They have that on television?
Right, I know. Well, I was in the business, so
Wait a minute. Give Scott a moment to process that. This is new information for him.
Yeah. So I was
Next thing you're gonna be telling me you can find that on the internet.
and yeah, right. And remember
Get
that
out of here.
remember I used to drink a lot. So so I was at the HBO party, and I was talking with the CEO of DirecTV and the president of HBO, standing there, and this good old boy from Kentucky, who was a big time satellite dealer, but he was also a big dude wearing bib overalls. I'm not shitting.
Wait a minute. Give us a second.
Party.
Give Scott and I a second to deal with that. There was a guy from Kentucky wearing overalls.
He was, I swear. And
Really?
he had a long beard. He was this big guy.
And he waited, and he was unshaven.
And he walks up to me and the
So the governor
two
was
other
there.
guys.
The governor was there.
yeah, the DirecTV guy and the HBO president. This guy pulls out a jar,
Of $100 bills.
a mason jar
Oh, okay.
of moonshine, raspberry moonshine.
No.
And he's like, y'all ever had any moonshine? And I'm like, and I'm already pretty shit-faced, teetering on the line of I'm about to tell the president of HBO to piss off. But I'm pretty well into the bag. And like I said, I used to drink a lot. Well, I was like, nope, let me have that. So the other two guys were pretty lit up too. So they took some of it, but I drank a lot of it. And because it tasted, it was just like drinking raspberry
And
Kool-Aid.
the fact that it could have been anything made by a total stranger does not in any way, shape, or form concern you.
Oh no, God no, but not back then, no.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to know where your standard was with regard to safety.
So I get completely hammered, and later on in the evening, I ended up telling the president of HBO to go make love to himself, but not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that go for you?
That I lost my bonuses the following year with HBO. So anyway, and I always hated Time Warner ever since then. But anyway, so because it wasn't my fault. But anyway, so I have so many crazy stories. But yeah, Scott, your turn.
Well, you reminded me of a Time Warner story. I got booked by Time Warner to speak in Bermuda at the Fairmont, this pink hotel in Bermuda. So they so they fly me in to Bermuda, and it's a speech, morning speech, and the guy says, you have to stop at 11:55. If you aren't done at 11:55, I'm going to come up and shoot you in the head because we got buses out here. We have a tea time. We have a scheduled lunch.
It's a hard out.
It's a hard out. If you go 11:56, you're going to be laying dead on the floor. It's a hard out at 11:55, no matter what. I'm like, okay, great. I mean, I'm here to work for you, right?
Right.
So it's senior leaders, everything, Time Warner. And the president of the cable division, evidently somebody forgot to tell him there was anything else on the program, because they said before our speaker this morning, which he obviously must have missed, he said the MC said the leader of our division would like to say a few words. 95 minutes later. They introduced me at 11:51.
Oh my God.
I said,
You have a hard out 4 minutes later?
4 minutes later. They flown me first class to Bermuda. They put me up in the Fairmont.
Story.
Well, anyway, so I get up, and my opening line is, as you can see for the program, it was intended to be a little bit longer, but you're about to hear 45 minutes of content in 4 minutes. Ready? Get out your pen. Here we go. I ended at 11:55, right on the dot. And this guy came up and he said, man, he said, that was pretty good. I'd like to hear the whole thing. Hey, what are you doing March 17th? And he booked me for another date. So I spoke 4 minutes, got to go to Bermuda, made twice the money.
And got a second booking out of it.
Which shows you the,
wow.
But I thought, wow, that's how you run your company. Gee, I wasn't impressed with of that particular division of the leadership.
I think this may wind up being my favorite show of ours. If we do just tell some stories, and here any moment we're going to be approaching the time where every week. I don't think we're there yet. I'm looking at the clock. We're not there yet.
Not quite there, but we're close.
We're getting close. I don't. That's Scott. That's fabulous.
4 minutes.
And did you say? And by the way, again. Sorry it was so short, but if you want to look me up in the future and you're looking at the clock countdown, you go, my name is Scott.
I should have.
That would have been great.
And that's how it ends.
That's funny.
By the way, did you know that there are certain golf courses in Bermuda? I did not know this until this. That's another thing I learned on this thing. Certain golf courses in Bermuda where you have to use a different type of ball that doesn't travel as far
Why?
because there's not enough land there, and they've got a couple courses there that are shorter courses. And so you play a different, it's a golf ball that's set up that it doesn't fly or go as far.
Wow.
Please tell me that for that trip, I've never heard of that. Please just tell me that you at least wore some shorts.
I did. Oh God! But those pictures are hidden. Yes, of course. You got to wear Bermuda shorts. In Bermuda.
You have to when
You
you're in
got to.
Bermuda,
It's a
don't
law.
you?
It's the law. But I love seeing like you'd be walking by a bank. I don't know if you guys have been there, but they'll be wearing a blazer, a suit jacket and a white shirt and tie and Bermuda shorts.
Wow.
So that is business dress. There is to be dressed up but you wear shorts.
Wow.
So Glenn, do you have a Time Warner story?
I don't have a Time Warner story, but I have some of the greatest stories, and none of them require embellishment. And I was just, man, I was thinking that's a really weird story that he wanted to say a few words. And at what point did you sit there and go, what on earth am I going to do?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
20 minutes in, 10 minutes in, what did you do?
You guys know what's happening. I mean, you sit there and you think, okay, because they wanted 45 minutes. So then he's going long and I'm going, well, it's not 45 minutes. So what do I say in 30 minutes? So in your mind,
And you're whittling your talk down.
you're cutting down your talk. And as he kept going and going and going, I thought, well, I may not get on at all. So then you think, okay, but if I do get on, what do I do? And I joked about it being a 45-minute speech in 4 minutes, because the thing of it is they all had an agenda in front of them, which this executive had obviously not bothered to look at or didn't care, which is another aspect of it, which happens. And I just thought I'll just say one thing. Here's the one thing if I would have had my 45 minutes, it would have been the one thing I wanted you to remember.
What was it?
I don't remember.
I wonder if anybody at that
Boy,
conference remembers.
No, it was to create distinction that just because you are a monopoly in the cable business doesn't mean you're a monopoly for the attention of your customers. So you have to be distinctive in everything that you do for your employees and for your customers.
Who was the guy that spoke that wanted a few minutes? What was his title?
He was CEO of the cable division of Time Warner.
So given that he was the CEO of the company that hired you to speak, you can't really rush the guy.
Nobody, yeah, exactly. And none of the employees was doing this, because it's the boss. He could,
Right.
he could do anything he wanted.
So none of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I had that happen one time. You ever had that, Glenn? I know you. They wanted 90 minutes, and then they decided they wanted 60 minutes. But the problem was everybody thought someone else had told me.
Oh, boy.
I've got the contract, I've got the paperwork, I've got everything, my notes, the whole
You
bit.
just didn't get the updated request.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm on stage. I mean, there's 1,000 people in the audience, and I still think I've got 30 minutes to go. And they're in the back in the sound, where the soundboard and everything is, just doing this and pointing at their watch and angry. And so I was kind of like, I'm getting to the final point, but that was the last 30 minutes, and then Q&A and all that. I'm like, so the last thing I want to say is, it's been great to be with you here today. After it was over, they were fine, but it was like, oh my God, that's where you can't prepare. That's one where you just gotta go with it.
Yeah, that's, oh my God. Where do I even begin? Just so many wonderful opportunities. Here was one of the speaker. Well, do I want to tell that one? I want to tell an uplifting one. That one's not a positive ending. It's
yeah, but we still got time.
You want to hear it? All right.
Yeah, we'll get back to
so
positive.
I won't out the organization. but
Well,
I'll
that's no fun.
no.
I'm
here's
never
what I'll
working for
say.
Time Warner again, obviously. So.
No, this was for the Think and Grow Mitch
Oh,
organization.
Oh,
So you may have heard of Think and Grow Mitch.
yeah.
And so I met some of the people from Think and Grow Mitch, and they asked me to speak on the Think and Grow Mitch stage. And as they were wiring, allow me to repeat that, as they were wiring me and the man up front is introducing me, he's beginning to tell the story of how we met, and it was last minute, and I've been asked to speak on their stage today, and that I would be coming to the national meeting and so forth. And it's a nice ramp up. And now I'm handed paperwork. Now, I had only been invited the night before at dinner. And this was just a gimme because they were in town. It didn't involve any travel. It was going to be a short 30-minute deal. And they handed me paperwork as they're putting the microphone on me and say, "What are your gifts?" I said, "I'm sorry, what are the gifts that you'll be giving out today? The giveaways." I said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Well, all of our speakers, they give out gifts, coaching and so forth." I said, "Yeah, I don't do that." And he said, "Well, you have to. If you're a speaker on this, you have to." I looked at him and I said, "You're telling me this with 2 minutes before I'm to get on the stage?" And he said, "Well, yes, somebody should have told you." I said, "They didn't."
Wow.
I said, "I have nothing to give except my understandings of life. That's what I'm here to give." He said, "Well, don't you coach? Don't you?" And I said, "I coach actors." "Well, what about that?" I said, "What about it? You want some people to observe my class? That's fine." So these people at Think and Grow Mitch, they decided to auction off to 6 people, to auction off my course.
Wow.
And it was bidded out. They pocketed all of the money, paid me nothing,
Ugh.
and disappeared. And now I think I better understand how they grow Mitch.
Jeez.
I think I better understand that now. It's the only time I have ever felt utterly taken advantage of by something, and I had to sit there and witness this crap. Now, there have been other people who have spoken for that organization, but I will tell you, I lost all respect instantly.
Yep.
Right?
Wow.
It's amazing. You would think when
I've had a
dealing
bad
with
experience with them too, and
you would think
not on stage. It didn't get that far, but I've had a bad experience with that same organization.
right, but when you would think that with a reputable name like Think and Grow Mitch, that that they would have a higher protocol or higher standards, and that
have you ever looked in? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ken.
I just gonna say, sounds like Mitch needs to change his name to Dick.
yeah, or maybe something else that rhymes with Mitch. You know,
I don't know if you've ever looked into the founder, but the story is not what people have thought.
I've heard.
do tell.
I've heard that about Napoleon.
Yeah, it's some of the famous people that he talked about that he spoken to or worked with. It was total BS. He was not the person that he made himself out to be, allegedly.
Yeah.
And it is, I don't know, maybe it's congruent that the organization isn't what it makes itself out to be.
Right. Well, all I know is they left town and left me there with the responsibility of coaching. They wound up with, I think it was 8 people. I said 6, I think 8 people who had bid on my classes. Now, here's what they didn't bother to even ask. They didn't ask because they didn't care. We weren't teaching online at that time. So these people were bidding for classes
Oh.
that they thought were going to be in their backyard. Instead, those classes were held in Dallas.
In Dallas. Oh,
And we wound up with one of the 8. And the other people, I'm saying, don't call me. Don't reach out to me on Facebook. This is not my doing.
Yeah.
This is on the organization. And I strongly suspect that nothing was ever done to rectify that. Right?
yeah.
Wow.
It's it's one of the things that always has drive me just crazy. And again, we're not going to directly name names in that, but how some of these organizations or some individuals that portray themselves as out to help people really are only out to help themselves.
Right.
And really, it's really discouraging. I mean, I've seen that, and I know you guys have as well in some other speakers or authors. And it's just so disheartening when, look, I mean, I want them to make money. It's my job. It's what all 3 of us do to a degree. I mean, you want to be profitable.
Yeah.
But man, I'm telling you, I mean, when people take advantage of individuals who sincerely want to learn and grow themselves personally and professionally, I think there's a special place in hell for the folks that have taken advantage of people and don't deliver. Look, at the end of the day, when you sign up for a course or a program, part of the responsibility is on you to do the work.
Yep.
Right. I mean, Ken, if I sign up for your program on live streaming, but I don't watch your videos and I don't go on, I have no right to say, oh man, that program didn't work for me. No, I didn't work the program.
Yeah.
So there is responsibility there. But when people just take advantage of sincere folks that want to learn and grow, man, I hope there's a special bench for them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
Did I mention that I was offered and issued an autographed book from the organization? This was to help me cope, I guess, with what had occurred. Can I also mention what use that book is going to have this winter? Now, I gave you winter as a clue to see if you could guess what function that book is going to serve.
Kinlan.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy doing it, and I'm not a vindictive person. I am going to enjoy placing my autographed book as though I wanted one. I never asked for one. I don't think there's much more an arrogant move you can make than issue somebody an autographed book that they didn't want. That's about as arrogant as it gets. So I'm going to treat it appropriately, and I'm going to place it in this fireplace. I'm going to show you the fireplace. I probably ought to do it on the show live.
That would be cool.
There's an idea.
That would be cool.
We'll give you full screen, dude.
There's an idea. Drop a 1 if you would like to see me light that book on fire tonight live.
Hey, Tammy, cancel Glenn's mailing.
Scott, there's your moment, brother. I've been waiting. That is the single funniest moment you have ever had on this show. Cancel sending Glenn my autograph.
Oh my God.
Well, you know what? Am I wrong? Is it arrogant to say? Do you know that a friend of mine once walked up? He was starting to be known for projects, and this person walked up to him, and his answer to her was, I'm sorry, I don't have a pen. That was the answer. She hadn't said anything. Oh. His response as this woman walked up was, I'm sorry, I don't have a pen. She said, I just want to know if you knew where the restrooms were. He actually said, I'm sorry, I don't have a pen.
Oh,
That's a those. So I get on a flight. I'm going to a speech, and it was I forget. I think it was Florida because it was a long flight. And I get on it. I'm on the window, and a guy comes on the aisle. Right, sits on the aisle, and he opens up his briefcase and he pulls out my book. And he starts reading my book, and it was on sale at the time of the airport. Well, my picture's in the back, and I'm thinking, boy, I hope he gets to the back. Should I say
It
anything?
makes the connection.
Should I say something? Should I not say anything? The whole bit. And I said, what do you think about the book? And he said, well, I'm not far into it. Some asshole speaking at our meeting. I sent it to him.
my God.
My moment.
Oh my God.
So I went, well, I'm the a-hole that's coming to your meeting.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I couldn't resist. It was too good. So I thought,
Excuse me if I may, I'd just like to identify myself as the
excuse me, I don't have a pen. I'd be happy to say that. Yeah, some assholes speaking at their meeting. They sent everybody one of these. So
What did he say?
he started laughing. He went, I guess I'd better look and see the author's picture before I start saying anything,
Oh,
to the guy's credit, after the speech was over, he sent me something, sent me a note, and he was really, really a cool guy. But that was my,
wow.
where's my pen? They're reading my book on the plane. I'm thinking he bought it at the airport. Now he's, just like
as soon as he starts talking about the book, you go, so do you like the book? And he goes, yeah. And you go, there's a picture you might want to look at on page 3.
Oh man,
That is hilarious.
I'm going to listen, my story, I'm going to let that play as my, ooh, that's just wrong. Cause it was a double. It was a triple. So it was a last minute booking for free, which means, so you're going to have me speak to your people and you're going to pay me nothing. That's offense number 1.
right.
Offense number 2 is again, it wasn't 10 minutes. I swear, hand to God, it's in the last minute before he was saying, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Glenn Morshower, right? So it was right before that. And he's got me filling out paperwork for my giveaways that I don't even have.
Oh my
And then
God.
they make them pay there that day, all 8 of them, never offering details as to what it included or anything. And one of them, and he's still with me today.
Oh my
He's still with me all this time later.
Wow.
Chuck Sutherland, really, really cool dude. And I'm grateful, but I agree with you, Scott. I think that you are seriously, you know what? If you're going to behave that way in life, I can't stress this enough. I think you seriously should not have any clue about what karma is.
Yeah.
And you probably should not believe in God.
Yeah.
You shouldn't believe in any of that stuff, because I'm telling you, you are setting up such a bad karmic situation when your MO is to take advantage of people.
Totally.
It's a terrible thing to do.
Did you see Charles's comment there, by the way? Excuse me.
What did he say? Oh, it was nice meeting you that day, Scott.
Wow.
Hey, Charles Coachman is getting funnier.
He's awesome.
He's
awesome. Karma is a Mitch.
Karma is a Mitch. Oh, yes.
But you're so right, and even those. I don't want to step in it here, but I mean, even the phony evangelists. I mean, I'm not saying evangelists. Not saying all. I'm not being all inclusive, but we do know that there are some who have taken advantage of the people in their churches, and there's just a special place in hell for those folks that take advantage of people that believe and that are vulnerable, particularly. And misrepresent. I'm just, man.
I knew a woman who got a letter from an evangelist 9 months after her husband died. Let me repeat that. 9 months after, talking about the miraculous healing that was coming his way. and that if you will increase your faith pledge,
Yep.
right, that the likelihood of expediting that healing would, I mean, and she wound up suing the organization. I mean, that's how in touch with her they were. That's how much they cared about the details of her story, is that they're sending money recruit statements promising a healing for her extremely dead husband. Unbelievable. You know, guys, this is going to help me cathartically. It's going to help me to burn this book on January 3rd during our program. Yeah.
Lock it up, dude.
Well, you know, some people say don't burn bridges. I'm going to joyously burn both a bridge and the book to it. So I'm going to go find this, and I'm going to light up my fireplace. This is going to be fun
that's
tonight.
cool.
Oh,
we're
the
doing
Ken
it
and Glenn
tonight.
Show.
All
with a guy
right.
named
All
Scott.
right.
Wow. I'll remove him while I can still see when he comes back.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's cool.
Is Samuel referring to The Devil Went Down to Georgia? Wasn't that
You know,
Charlie?
Samuel, I don't know the Charlie Daniels song about that, unless it's Devil Went Down to Georgia.
He was looking for a soul to steal.
Uh,
It was way behind.
Look at you knowing those lyrics. That's cool.
I love that, man. I don't know if that's what Samuel was. Samuel, what was the this gives a new meaning to fireside chat. No kidding. Oh, that's hilarious. What are you referring to with Charlie Daniels?
Oh, Long Haired Country Boy.
Your boy. Yeah, I love that song.
Oh man.
Whose autograph is it? Napoleon Hill's, I would imagine.
That's my guess.
Or a stamp they had made mimicking his signature. Oh, Glenn's back. There he is. Glenn. Hey, Glenn. Yellow Glenn. Oh, he had the it looks like Kara's gonna partake in the festivities.
According to Wikipedia, this is one of the 10 best-selling self-help books of all time.
Which one?
The Mitch book.
Oh. Yeah, I've read it many times. Many times.
You know, and there's another thing I guess we need to remember is that sometimes how do you say this? People that aren't the best can often say things that have meaning to the listener.
Yeah.
You know, just because the evangelist is a scam artist doesn't mean that some of the things that he or she says isn't worth taking to heart. Just because the author or seminar leader is not a sincere and real person doesn't mean that there aren't nuggets in what they say. That was one of the reasons I loved Jim Rohn and continue to listen to him because
amazing man.
At the beginning of one of his talks where he says, by the way, there's no guru here today. We're not looking for followers.
Yeah.
We're not, I mean, he's very clear about the fact I have ideas that may help you. And I want to share with you.
Yeah.
And just his openness and how he says that speaks to the sincerity of who he was.
Wait, have they already burnt the dang thing? Hold on, he's coming back. Oh, there's Brad Leland. Brad, how you doing, man?
Hey, Happy New Year, Bradley.
Did you already do it?
No, are you kidding? And
Well, I
leave
saw
you guys out of
flames.
the joy?
I know. I saw flames and I was like, dude. So you want to share with everybody what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm going to fearlessly toast a book that was given to me, and the whole premise that it was given to me, the spirit in which it was given was the spirit of a con. And I'm going to publicly call a spade and let it get what it deserves. But allow me to read the inscription first. What?
You want to
Well-
show the book?
No, hang on. Get back from that, sweetie. Hold on, I got to get the cat back from the fire.
You're gonna get in there.
Get back.
You ever
Hey,
hear of a cat setting itself on fire? I haven't.
I haven't either. By the way, here on eBay, I just had to look real quick. Here on eBay is a first edition copy signed by Napoleon Hill.
How much?
What's your guess?
2,500.
17,500.
What are we talking about?
A signed
First edition copy signed by Napoleon Hill.
on
First
eBay.
edition 1937, 17,500.
Okay, well, this one's going to be burned for free.
Here's another one signed by Napoleon Hill, 750.
Oh,
Here's
is
one
it
signed by him for
Napoleon Hill?
8,000. Yeah, signed by Napoleon Hill.
And is yours signed by Napoleon Hill?
That would be a no.
Oh,
However,
what's the inscription?
I'm not going to discuss because I'm not here to humiliate an individual. I am here to call out a spade, call a spade, and I'm here to out the mistreatment of human beings
Yes.
as though they are to be wadded up and used and thrown away. That's what I have a problem with. I have the problem of the spirit of abuse. And so I don't want the contamination of the memory of that even in my midst. So I'm going to send it into the sky tonight, but I wouldn't want to do that without reading the nauseatingly insincere inscription. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Glenn. We're first name basis, of course. Glenn, thank you so much for speaking on the Think and Grow Mitch tour. Your talk was awesome. You have amazing gifts our Heavenly Father has given you. You are so authentic and real. Your humor is awesome. Let's do some big things together and help and serve the people. Be blessed always.
Wow.
That's what was handed to me along with my ointmentless outing, if you get my point.
Yeah.
My you-know-whating that took place minus any ointment. So I was handed this book shortly after I bent over.
Oh, jeez.
It was in that order. It was bend over and here's your book. So we're waiting for the fire back there, guys, to grow a little bit.
Oh, I think you'll be
Ooh.
able to use some of the pages to help it.
Well, is that the technique? I was going to put the whole thing in there. What are you saying, that I should pull the pages
Pull
out?
some pages out to stoke the fire a little, then throw it on there.
Hey, let's do that, Ken, shall we?
Hey, Reenie says don't burn it.
Don't burn it. What kind of crappy advice is that, Reen?
Here we go.
Rip.
Oh, no,
that's
that
the
was-
screen.
yeah.
I thought that was the.
That is so funny. Ladies and Scott, you gotta narrate this, Scott. Come on.
And Mr. Morshower has approached the fire. He's examining the fire. He is contemplating. Oh, the pages are ripping. The pages are in the fire. Ooh, the book is burning. More pages out of the book. More pages in the fire.
What?
I'm doing play-by-play of you burning the book. He's no Brad Sham, but he's And the curtain is closed on the book.
Oh, wow. He's like, here, let me make sure you can see this.
Oh, I love it. Look at it burns pretty good.
If you notice, I became a little overzealous. Let me turn to the side. I put a couple of pages in there, and including the inscription. The inscription went first. And as I was doing it, I noticed my joy quotient rising. I did. And then my smile began widening. And I thought, just put it in there. And that's the book you can actually see the book in the front there.
Oh my
That
God.
book is really roasting right now.
Yeah.
If you're on a laptop, pick it up and take us over there. Let us.
Oh, you got it. That's a good idea. Hold on.
Oh, you'll have to unplug everything though. The microphone.
Yeah. The title of the book is Burn and Grow Warm.
Yeah. Never mind, Glenn. You'd have to unplug everything and the audio changes and all that. Never mind.
No, it's all right. Let's do it.
Wow. Uh-oh. And he is gone, dude. Device is not connected. Like he's gone from the show. Oh my God.
Napoleon's ghost.
Nate says RIP book.
Yep.
That-
There you go, Nate. You got it.
Hey, Sandy Archer, how are you? Let's see if he's called me yet. Nope. Wow. Well, he's gone. Like he's literally
Gone, huh?
yeah.
Brian says, and the book turns into creosote. Yes. Yeah. So who posted it? Where to go? Somebody posted, Carrie Graves posted something about, would that be something if his house caught on fire?
Yeah. Hey, Glenn, you're Glenn,
Yeah.
your camera, there's something whopper jawed here.
Yeah. Hold
There we
on.
go.
Uh-oh. Where
That looks like remember in James Bond where Blofeld sat behind the screen? That was kind of the
Glenn, you got to go in and select the right camera. The
Oh,
Browns were not awesome, Brad Leland. They beat the Steelers. And I'm a Steelers fan.
the Steelers junior varsity.
Right. Oh, was it?
Yeah. Big Ben didn't play.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, how long is he going to play?
okay. Are we
You're back.
back?
We hear you. Can you hear
All
us?
right. So anyway,
Can you hear us?
Whoa.
it's roasting. Inspiration roasting on an open fire.
Can you hear us?
Inspiration roasting on an open.
Glenn, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Making sure.
Ready? Con games roasting on an open fire.
Wow.
People skipping town around your nose.
It's burning a ring of fire.
I have never burned a book
Wow.
in my life. And
I
that
defeat-
doesn't, you understand that what I'm burning is intention. I'm burning someone's intention. I'm just letting it go away because I didn't ask for it. It was given to me as a cover up for the con. Hey, thanks. We loved having you around here. Okay, I don't need it. This is a year for me. I did make a New Year's resolution, and it's a year where boundaries, clear cut boundaries, boundaries as to what is allowed to fly and what is not. what is allowed to take up precious real estate within my heart and within my mind. And I only want love and authenticity in my life. And if that includes people disappearing in droves, so be it. I hope it's not that. But if that's what it takes to clean house, then that's what it takes. So I feel about 50 pounds lighter right now. Thank you, gentlemen.
How did they give that to you at the conference?
Yes, after the screwing.
Ah, man.
Your
Yeah,
lovely parting gift.
Exactly.
On game shows. Yeah. Hey, Glenn, we've taken advantage of you, but it's a lovely parting gift.
It's exactly the way it felt, Scott.
Here's what we're gonna.
Haven't you ever stood there? Haven't we all had those moments where we stand there and we go, you did not just do that?
Yeah,
I mean, or you did not just say that. You didn't. There's no way you could have done that.
Yeah.
Because the only person who would do what you're just now doing is someone who is aware at level 0. Not even minimal awareness, because minimal awareness would know that you are on display. What does this say, Brad? Read that back. This is what has happened to the world. Even Glenn burns books. Let's hope the house cleaning is less dramatic.
That's funny.
I didn't know I was going to do that on the show. See, this is what I love about our show. Our show is an ever-evolving thing. It just does what it wants to do in the moment, and it expresses itself organically. I didn't come on at 10 before the hour and go, hey, guys, I've got a great idea.
Yeah.
Right? But honestly, I made up my mind. Isn't it interesting? I made up my mind to burn that book quite a while ago, and I just got preoccupied. And then we started talking about things that have happened, and I remembered in that moment, oh, right, I intended to burn that book. So Renee's saying, what year was the book signed? This year. This year. Not 2021, but in 2020.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter now. It's burned. It's gone.
It's burnt.
And you know, I love what you said about there is something cathartic about it, right? I mean, we were talking about Jim Rohn earlier, and you've heard the story that Jim Rohn tells about budget finance in Los Angeles that wouldn't leave him alone. And he finally made the money to pay off the car. And so he went to the bank and got it in quarters and walked in and dumped it on the guy's desk. He said, you know, a little revenge is pretty good every once in a while to keep you motivated for the future. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's, when people aren't fair with us, getting even with them, not in a way that hurts them or harms them. There was nothing that hurt, but he said, the credit guy had said to him, I'm going to come repossess your car, but I'm going to do it during the day, and I'm going to drive up and down the street so all your neighbors can see that we've taken your car. So he went in and just poured the money.
I heard
count it, he said.
I heard a story about a guy doing something similar, but it was like a lot of money in nickels, and he filled up dump trucks.
Oh my gosh, nickels.
And had these dump trucks, a couple of them, dump all of these nickels, and I forget what it was, but
hopefully unrolled.
Oh yeah,
unrolled nickels.
Yeah, it was all unrolled. He dumped it all in nickels. It's crazy. I love that. I had a company I worked with. I will not mention their name. But the similar type of thing, con man, could be used to describe the leader of this organization. And when I finally wised up and went, what in God's name is going on here? Like, this is crazy. Why am I here? I did the same thing. I had a bunch of shirts with the company name and logo. And
Did you burn them?
oh yeah. Yeah.
Atta baby.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
So wait a minute. It sounds like I just joined your club. Like you're the one that's the president, man. I'm just coming in as an underling.
No, I've
Scott, am I the third one in line? Have you also
No,
burned
no. As a
something?
matter of fact, I have a similar shirt and a similar book. So I think I wish I
Scott's like,
had a fireplace.
damn it, why am I not by the fireplace?
Well,
Yeah,
if
no
you'll
kidding.
look at this smile on my face, that might incentivize you to go get rid of it this week.
I need to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. That's just wrong.
So do you want to promote the other format? Do you want to mention anything about that and how interesting that was?
I mean, I think it's going to catch on. I mean, you and I talked about it afterwards. It's called Clubhouse. Like right now, I'm getting just hammered with all these notifications of all these people that are on there right now. The Damon John, the shark from Shark Tank. And I mean, there's just unbelievable amounts of people on here, and they set up these rooms, and some of them are cocky entrepreneurs, and I've listened to them, and I'm like, you know what, I can't handle. I mean, I like so you guys know about all the Instagram being filled with a lot of these younger people that go out and rent Lamborghinis and rent jets, and they take pictures. So they have all this this stuff to post on Instagram, and they're fake. And I see some people that are on there that have made it now, but they're not really making it. How do I put this? They've made some money, but they were complete frauds, and they probably still are. And I just, there's parts of it that are cool. There's parts of it that I'm like, I love. It's not going to take the place of live video. It will not take the place of this. I think people will like it a lot, but it's not going to take the place of this. No way.
I happen to share your assessment.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be right back, guys.
If anybody'd send me an invitation, maybe I could get on. But
Glenn probably has one invite.
Yeah, I don't know that I know how to do it, but Scott is certainly welcome to my one and only invite.
is that what you get? I just reserved my name, but it said I had to have an invite to get in.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this exclusivity thing. Let me see if I can.
Hey, I'll
Let
be.
me see if I can send this to you.
Oh, here's sad news. Tanya Roberts died today.
I did not know that.
Oh, never mind. My Clubhouse account is ready.
Oh, it's ready.
Yeah, Cliff Ravenscraft was kind enough to do that. I got to send him a thank you note. Cliff Ravenscraft was one of the first people that had courses on how to podcast. He was the podcast answer man, and now he's kind of branched out from that, but one of the good guys. So,
I guess Ken had to go somewhere for a minute.
yeah, he said he'd be right back. But so, hey, Glenn,
Yes, sir. I'm listening. I'm with you.
You burned a book. It makes me wonder is there a book that you would recommend?
To not burn?
Yeah, well, just off the top of your head. I mean, some folks are saying, "Oh, why do you burn a book?" So okay, let's look at the other side of the coin. What's if you were to say, "Hey, if here's something I read that I did find of value and I did think is authentic and sincere."
Yeah, well, to be clear, I don't doubt that the book had value.
Right.
But the spirit in which it was given was an absolute sham. It was a con, and I don't want that spirit in my home. It's not the book. I'm sure the book has things, but I would never be able to enjoy that copy. So it turns out I might turn around and go and get the very book I just burned.
Hmm.
You know, and someone could say, well, that's a little insane. So you just burned up something, you just destroyed it to go get something new. And to them, I would say, that's exactly right. It's exactly right, because it's part of cleaning up my life. I believe that things are blessed by the intent.
Yes.
I've lived by that my whole life, Scott. So things are not always what they appear to be, but intention is always in place, right? So why was it given to me? Why was it signed? And the answer is clearly because it was part of the con.
Yeah.
It was part of the deal. It was basically putting syrup on the really messed up, bad flavored pancakes that I had been served. So after the fact, they thought they would administer some additional syrupy, you know, anyway. So to answer your question, there have been some beautiful books. I loved Richard Bach's book, Illusions. I started reading Richard Bach when I read Jonathan Livingston Seagull. But I loved his book, Illusions, The Celestine Prophecy, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
That's another great one. Yeah.
Life with Woodpecker.
I don't know that one.
If you've ever seen that one. Anything by Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, man.
I'm such a Hunter S. Thompson fan.
What a wild man. Yeah.
Gosh, anything by Dr. David Hawkins. Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. I mean, these are the kinds of books I read. I've never read a novel in my 61 years. I've never read a murder mystery. I've read those if they are scripts, but not books. The only books I'm admitting, the only books I've ever read are books on improving the quality of your life.
That's fascinating to me because, I'm drawing a blank. The movie you did with Charlize Theron.
It was called Dark Places.
Dark Places. Yeah. Yeah. I'd read that book before I saw the movie. I didn't, and this is before we were acquainted. And, because one of the things that you do when you've read the book before you see the movie is you evaluate a couple of things. Did they stick with,
the original script?
Original, manuscript. And then also, you get in your head the way that you think a person is going to look and to some degree act as you read the book. You get your mental image of that person. And that's another thing you kind of evaluate is, does that person look like, well, for example, I've read a lot of the Harry Bosch series from Michael Connelly, and Bosch is out as a series and has been for a while on Amazon. And the actor that plays the leading role, that plays Detective Harry Bosch, doesn't look anything like I had him in my head. And so it took a while for me to get into that series because it
didn't line up.
It didn't line up. There wasn't a line. Now I love it, but it took a while. By the way, Tammy and I have been binging on HBO Succession. Wow. I don't know if anybody's.
Is that something I need to watch?
It's really well done. Brian Cox is the star.
Oh, great actor.
Oh, he's fantastic in this. It is Succession is the story of, it's kind of Rupert Murdoch-ish and his family, and who will succeed the dad that doesn't want to let go, and the kids trying to jockey for position and that. So we finished year one. There's 2 seasons, so we finished season 1. But wow, I mean, there's some terrific performances in this. And I'm a Brian Cox.
And it's on HBO, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I love the recommendations because we're always looking for something new. I want to make up. Go ahead, Ken.
I forgot to tell you, my mom texted me at 7:00 my time. So about an hour before our show, she texted me and said that she said that her and my dad were watching the Christmas movie that you made, Every Other Holiday.
Yeah.
She said, "Wow, great movie. Tell Glenn he did a tremendously good job in that movie." And then she said, "Your dad and I both had tears in the end."
Oh, nice. I love that.
It is a great movie.
Well, then you probably shouldn't text her and go, Glenn would love to talk to you, but he's busy burning inspirational books.
I won't talk to her.
Oh, it's so good.
So I want to make up. I want to make up for the detour that I took with that story, because I was kind of 50-50 as do you bring that up about something that's outrageous? And, you know, when we always do the thing about that's just wrong. And it really was. It was a colossal mistreatment of someone who deserved no mistreatment. I mean, it's one thing if they're treating you poorly because you were acting a fool.
Yeah.
But when all you are is someone who came to deliver value to their stage and you haven't even gone on yet, and at the last minute, and of course that was part of it too. It was part of it because do you see, are both of you clear, and is everyone in the audience clear, that had this been presented to me 30 minutes before I go on, I say, goodbye. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
If someone had said, now, just to be clear, here's what we're going to do. We're going to auction off all of your coaching. We're going to auction it off at $500 a pop. We're going to do it for 8 people. We're going to take $4,000. We're going to slip it in our pocket, and then we're going to leave town. We're not going to give you anything.
Yeah, you're doing the speech for free, right? I mean,
you're going to speak for free,
yeah.
And then we're going to take what you earn for us entirely, and you will not be compensated.
Right.
So if that had been revealed to me, which is exactly what they did, it's not sort of what they did, it's what they did, I would have said no. But when you're in mid-introduction, which is part of the manipulation, how do you say no when they're announcing your name?
Yeah.
Because there is a part of me, and perhaps you boys can relate to this, that says the show must go on. And I got to tell you, here's a prayer I have for everyone in this audience, including myself. It is a sincere prayer. I pray that I am en route to becoming the man that in 2021, if I were to be put in that same scenario again, I would pull the microphone down and say, have a nice day, despite the fact that they were in mid-introduction, and let them wear the well-deserved egg on their face.
Amen, dude.
That's the man I want to become. So instead, I followed through, knowing that I did not like it, but they were in mid-introduction. Now, I know me well enough to know, had they done it 20 minutes before, I would have said, I'm sorry, I don't have any giveaways, and I don't play this way. You're not going to hand me something at the last minute like this. But it was part of the manipulation. They knew damn well.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew damn well that they would wait until the last minute because they knew I would say no.
And they got $4,000.
They got $4,000 that day.
And you spoke for free.
Yes.
Which
and the other reason that they did it in that way too is they had you set up, because I've seen it happen where the person does say, well, I'm out of here, I'm not doing that, and they come on because the audience will not
know the details. They won't be in on the manipulation, and it winds up making the speaker look like the jerk.
Absolutely. And that's how it would have been presented. Unfortunately, Mr. Morshower said that he wasn't able to connect with you folks today, or they would have said something to make you look bad, because they're never going to go on stage.
You know what, Scott?
No, we tried to
Scott,
throw
you're 100% right.
Yeah. And it's crappy. It's just,
it's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Because the audience didn't do anything wrong. You know, the audience is there, and they are as naive as we are as speakers trying to be of service.
Right. And they're innocent.
They're innocents. And they are being manipulated just as you were.
Glenn, I'd like to point out that my mom heard your statement. She's on here. She said I heard that.
Well, but does she know what it anyway? She can play back the show. So I want to offer you guys before.
Let's plug your stuff, dude. Talk about the movie.
Oh, I will, but let me make up for it by telling the other uplifting story that I was going to tell, which the Cliff Notes version is this. There was a guy that I used to loan money to in a card room on a regular basis. He was what they called a railbird, and he was always going around going, got a lucky chip for me, man. You got a lucky chip for me. And so I bought him into a few games, $100 here, $100 there. And I did keep score. I kept score. The guy owed me about between $750 and $800.
Wow.
And then he did my favorite thing that people do when they owe you money is then he went and died. So, but what was beautiful is before he died, let me tell you what this guy did for me. I'm visiting Vancouver. I'm actually up there with my friend Irene at the time. You guys know her as Reenie, and now I call her Reenie, but I'm up there in Vancouver when I get a notice that someone has requested me for this film. And I think I told you this, guys, this story, not film, but for a TV series to read for a lead role. I go back to Los Angeles and they send me the script in advance. I'm reading it on the plane and I realize it's a story about this guy's down and out gambling life, and specifically as a beaten up poker player. And the name he goes by in the script is the same name as this guy that I know from in the club. Could it be? And he borrows money from everybody.
What?
Could it be? And I get to the top of the Century City Twin Towers. I get up there to the top level where my meeting is, and I'm thinking about it all the way back to Los Angeles. The elevator doors open, and the guy I had been loaning money to all these years is standing there waiting for me at the elevator, where he says, "Shh, don't tell a soul that we know each other. I wrote this script and they think I'm a friggin' genius." This is what he says to me.
God.
He says, "And I want you to play me." So this guy who had pestered me for all these years and pestered everyone I knew wound up, and we became buddies, winds up getting me a meeting. Literally the seemingly most unlikely person on the planet who would ever serve as a connection for me introduces me to the people at Dick Clark Productions, where they turn around and hire me as a series regular, one of the two leads in the show opposite James Avery. And this guy pays me back my $750 in spades.
Wow.
But never out of his pocket. But my point is, my good deed of taking care of this guy all the time turns into thousands and thousands of dollars on this series. And that's why I stand here at age 61, and I've known it for many years now. Nothing surprises me
Wow.
anymore.
That's-
I believe in miracles. This guy is the reason he writes his life story and they turn it into a TV series, and I wind up playing him. Come on, Wet Ed.
Wow.
Wow.
But he
Wow.
didn't really die?
Yes. After that,
Oh,
the point is,
wow.
he knew he could never pay me back that money in cash, so he found a way to pay it back.
Wow.
Amazing.
I mean, come on.
Karma. Yeah. Amazing.
So Steve, let it go and let God do his thing.
Yeah, let go and let God do his thing. All three of us believe in that, don't we?
Absolutely.
Serena
Yeah.
says, save the ashes from the fireplace. Oh my God.
Reenie thinks that this guy is going to turn around and serve me somehow. No, it was clear. It was clear what his intentions were. So
Yeah,
that's all right. Hey guys, I think it's about that time.
it is.
What a great night. This has been a blast.
It's been a lot of laughter, huh?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I wish you gentlemen, let me say this on our first show of the year. I wish you the greatest year of your lives so far. And I mean that with a brand new set of policies and formulas that are upping your game,
Yeah.
that will lead you to an increased sense of peace. This is what I decided for my new year, is to ramp up an existing condition of good. Because my life is really good and I'm really happy, and I have been for a long time. But I took a close inspection of, is there any area where we could tighten down the hatches just a little bit? Is there anything that we could do to improve and or enhance? And I am a devotee of peace. So anything that would dare to threaten a sense of personal peace, it is officially disallowed.
Charles, well, today I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Go ahead, Scott. What's the next line?
Many times when I could not find a friend.
But I always thought
that
I would see you
again.
again. We love James Taylor.
Yeah.
Take us out, Scott, would you?
Thanks, everybody. We will be back next week with what will be our next best show of 2021. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Love everybody. Thank you for taking
Have a
time.
good week, guys.
Lots
Lots of love.
Good night, everybody.